Hello everyone, and welcome to my second part of my lesson on how to make a moving toy car using Tinkercad's code blocks. If you haven't already, I recommend watching the first part of the video where we make the body of the car. In this lesson, we will be making the wheels and the holes for the wheels. With that said, let's begin. The first thing that we'll need to do is scroll down and find our design from last time. Once we click on it and click on Tinker This, we will load in. And we can see our previous design right here, and along with all the code that we made. We'll scroll down to the bottom before we go down to this black markup tab here. We're going to drag in a comment, and I'm going to change this comment to say hole 1. This is to help us easily recognize and identify different parts of our model in the future. That being done, we can get started on making this. We'll go back up to the Shapes tab, and we're going to drag in a cylinder. We're going to change the cylinder into a hole by clicking on this gray circle here, and then we'll click on this arrow in order to adjust some of the parameters of our cylinder. We're going to change the radius of our cylinder to 4. We'll change the height of our cylinder to 20, and we're going to change the size of our cylinder to 64. That done, we'll go to the purple Modify tab, and we will drag in a Move command. We are going to move this cylinder to an X of 18 and a Y of -3. That being done, we can right-click on this cylinder and duplicate it to add another to the bottom of our code. This cylinder we also want to be a hole, however we are going to change the radius to 7. The height, we are also going to change to 2, but we can keep the sides. We're going to change the Move command to be a Z of 9. That done, we can right-click on this cylinder, duplicate it, and add it to the bottom. This second cylinder, we can keep all of these parts the same. However, we are going to have to adjust the Move command. Instead of going to a Z of 9, we are going to have it go to a Z of -9. Next, we'll go back to the Shapes tab, and we'll drag in a cone. We'll again change this cone to be a hole shape by clicking on that gray circle, and then we'll click on this arrow to expand our options. We are going to set the top radius of our cone to be 4, and we will set the bottom radius to be 7. The height of our cone is going to be 5, and the sides are going to be 64. We'll then go to the purple Modify tab, and we'll drag in a Move command. We are going to move this cone to an X of 18, a Y of -3, and a Z of -5.5. That done, we can right-click on our first cone and duplicate it and add it to the bottom. We're going to change this cone a little bit. We are going to set the top radius to be 7 and the bottom radius to be 4. We are also going to have to alter the Move command so that the Z goes to +5.5. That done, we can drag in a Create Group tab. If we press play, we can see the work that we've created so far. Now, to create each of the holes and the wheels, we could simply drag in the code and repeat all of these steps again. However, there is an easier way. Instead of doing all of that, we can simply right-click on the hole command and add and duplicate all of this. We'll add all of this duplicated code to the bottom, and we will simply change the name of the comment to Wheel 1. Now, we will simply have to modify all of these objects in order to create the wheel that will go into this hole. Let's do that right now. The first thing that we'll have to do to make our wheel is we'll go to all of these shapes and we are going to change them to solid objects. Whereas all of these were holes to remove, these are going to be solid objects that we will be printing eventually. You can change the colors to whatever you like. I'm simply choosing to make them all black. That being done, we can get onto the task of modifying them. The first cylinder, we are going to change to a radius of 3.4. The height we will keep at 20, as well as everything else. We can also keep our move command the same. The second cylinder, we are going to set to a radius of 6.4 and keep everything else the same. The third cylinder, again, we'll change the radius to 6.4. For the cone, the first cone, we will set the top radius to be 3.4 and the bottom radius to be 6.4. The second cone will set the top radius to be 6.4 and the bottom radius to be 3.4. Pressing play to check our commands, we can see what we've accomplished. Now, once again, we could drag in everything and redo all of our efforts to make a second hole and a second wheel, or we can work smarter. I've chosen to go about the smart way. So, what we will do is we will go up to our hole 1, we'll right click to duplicate it, and we will drag all of this code to the bottom of our command. You might have to drag it down to the side, and then mouse wheel down in order to find the bottom of your code. Make sure you don't accidentally add it into the middle or you'll have big problems. Once we have it down in the bottom, we can change the names of these so that they're easy to find and edit in the future. I'll change this comment to hole 2 so that I know what all of this code is for, and I'll change all of this code to wheel 2 so that it's easy to find in the future. Then I can zoom in and go about changing things. In order to make the hole for the second wheel, we actually don't need to change any of the code that we copied. All we need to do is change the move commands for these objects. In this case, we're going to change all of the X values for our move commands for the hole to be, instead of X being 18, X will be negative 15. So I will just go through and change all of those values like so. And then I can go in and do the same thing over here. I will change all the X values for wheel 2 to be negative 15. With all of that done, we should be able to simply press play and see our car with its holes and wheels fully assembled. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting. At this point, you can print your car and the wheels will be able to spin and move freely. However, if you would like to add some decorations to your car, including a spoiler, adding windows, headlights, and rear lights, please check out my next video where I discuss how to do all of that. That being said, everything is done for now, and I hope you found this interesting. I'm Zeke, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye for now.